As the dawn light peeked through the curtains, he had a brainwave. The venue would have taken pictures of everybody at the party last night, and, by now, those images would be all over their social media accounts. He would check Twitter and Instagram, find a picture of the woman currently in his bed, and that would hopefully give him her name. It made perfect sense, and he was rather pleased with himself for coming up with it. Now, where was his phone? He must have left it out in the living room, along with most of his clothes. He slid his arm out from under the girl and tried to get out of bed without disturbing her. Despite his best efforts, she turned over in her sleep and said in a loud and clear voice, "Bastard donkey chiropodist!" Deccie really wanted to know what kind of dream this was. Maybe he would ask, "Insert name here," when he woke her up with breakfast. And her name. He walked towards the bedroom door, stifling a yelp as he skewered his bare foot on what must have been a piece of jewellery, hastily discarded in the throes of passion. He bit down on his lip and, in an act of true bravery that tragically would go unappreciated, managed not to scream. He limped out the door and closed it behind him. The living room was in near total darkness, thanks to the fancy blackout blinds he'd installed to maximise the effect of the massive TV he'd bought on hire purchase. The only light in the room came from the clock on the oven, as it flashed 0000, because he'd never figured out how to set it. It was also the only use he'd got out of the oven so far. Deccie turned, and did let out a yelp this time, as the outline of an enormous figure reared up in front of him. He flailed about, and eventually found the light switch. The downlights illuminated the spectacle of a huge gorilla in the middle of his lounge, wearing a pair of oversized sunglasses and holding a cocktail. It wasn't real in the sense that it was alive, or had been formerly alive, but it was about 6 feet tall, and was also wearing a pair of women's knickers on its head. Had he stolen or won the large, not-real gorilla? Were those Bono's sunglasses? Deccie shook his head. His life was becoming weirder than he ever could have dreamed possible. Speaking of which, he still needed to find out the name of the woman in his bed, and for that, he needed his phone. He moved around the gorilla. Charlie. His name was Charlie. How could he remember that, and not insert name here's name? Unbelievable. He ducked under Charlie's arm, the one holding the cocktail glass, and scanned the coffee table for any sign of his phone. As he did so, his eyes were drawn to what the estate agent had described as the feature wall of the living room. This time, he screamed. Properly screamed. A few seconds later, the bedroom door flew open, and his guest appeared there, entirely naked, save for a concerned expression on her face. "What happened?" He didn't answer. Instead, he pointed a trembling finger at the wall upon which 3 words were scrawled in large red letters. Deccie Must Die. 3 exclamation marks, too. The surest sign of an unhinged mind. "Oh, my God!" exclaimed insert name here. "Who's Deccie?" He turned to look at her. Honestly, the nerve of some people.